Well, hello, friends. This is the first time we're doing a podcast. Meteorologist Jeff Porter alongside meteorologist Will Haenni without Randy Burns. She is down in Dayton, Ohio at WKEF, a sister station of ours. So we miss her dearly. Of course, you'll see Chief Meteorologist Keith Thompson in his regular spot tonight and ongoing future weeks, of course, in the evenings, unless there's any vacation going on that we don't know about.
There might be 1 or 2 days in the next couple of weeks, but I'm not sure.
I think it's the 3rd, right? Of
Yeah.
July.
Yeah.
So
It's getting a little R&R.
So we've been working at home since the end of March for me. I think you're right there.
Yeah. I think it was like the week Randy left. So I think it was April 1st was that first week. So it's been now going on almost 3 months, I think, for both of us. You started a little bit before I did.
Yeah, so it's like, and you are a reporter slash photographer for what, 50%, maybe 40% of the time you're here. I guess that fluctuates a little bit, but like, it was our assistant news director right away, crash course with how to run a camera, how to set up a light kit, how to set up your signal for your shot with a live view bag. And I came home with like all this gear, so it was like going from my garage up to my apartment, back and forth with just tons of gear and like a regular old school camera. Like, those things are like, they're not light.
No, they're heavy. And you have one of the older cameras that they give you? Yeah, because we just basically need a stable camera that can run a live shot. So we don't need anything super fancy. But, you know, both of our shots, I think, look pretty solid. And I'm impressed, because Jeff, you weren't dealing with that stuff on like a daily basis by any means. So
it was like, let me practice and see if I can get a signal to go by myself. And then like I practiced like this Sunday morning before with Clay, who used to be our weekend morning director. And then that Monday it was like, let's just go. The other thing is like the actual tripod for a camera. The tripod is heavy.
Yeah.
Like, that thing is heavy. I remember, I don't know, I think the first 2 days everything was cool, but I was always like taking the camera off the tripod and totally breaking everything down. And then like one morning, I couldn't get the camera back on the tripod.
Oh man, yeah.
And this is
They're
like,
kind of tricky, the footing on them are.
There's a little like latch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so like I didn't know about that, so I'm like trying to get it to sit in the, you know, in the little ruts or whatever, and I'm sweating. This is right before 4:30. Like, I'm nervous.
Panicking.
Yeah, like I text Patrick Hagan, our morning photog, who's fantastic, and I've texted him so many times and I've had issues. I'm like, dude, I can't get this on the tripod to save my life. Like, what do I need to do? And he was, I think that was probably my first, like...
hurdle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, you know, just from everyone that's listening or watching, what's been, I think, kind of cool is we have this software that allows us to get into our computers from home. It's called Splashtop. And what has your experience been with that? Like, for me, I've been like super impressed. I mean, it's been pretty seamless, and just that ability alone has really been really kind of cool for me, just to be able to remote into our weather graphics. And it was way more seamless, knock on wood so far, than I anticipated.
Well, so. I think even if like you're not working, but you want to like take a gander at some stuff, or you want to like put together something quick or whatever and do some social media, it's been really versatile in that regard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ever so slightly slower. There's like a small delay.
Yeah.
I think wherever you pick your cursor,
yeah,
it always ends up being farther left once the cursor lands wherever you're trying. So it's slightly finicky. I think one morning it was behaving really funky where like I kind of essentially lost control of everything and had to do like a reboot. But other than that, it's been stable. Yeah. It's reliable.
Yeah. What are some? Do you have any other days where something wasn't working and you had to like for me, there was a night. It was, I think, it was about 10:40. This was on like a Saturday or a Sunday, and my internet went out. And every once in a while in my apartment, my internet, it'll just I'll lose it, and then usually when I reboot my router and reboot it, everything is fine.
Yeah.
But it was like one of those times I did that, try it, doesn't come back. And so I was on the phone with our producer and just like, I think I need to come in. So I drove into the station, and I still like made it in time for the A block. They pushed me down, but yeah, it was crazy. So I had to basically hustle into the station and do weather. And that was the only time I think this whole 2.5 month period that I came into the station to do weather from our studio. So that was pretty weird. And it was also like, I was kind of nervous, more nervous than I normally would be, because I hadn't done it in so long, like on a green screen.
Yeah.
But stuff is like riding a bike. You don't forget it. But
I was working for Keith last Friday, and you worked for me that morning. He was taking a long weekend, and I was just like practicing in front of the weather wall with some of the interactivity type stuff, because I hadn't done it in like 3 months, and it's a little touchy. But yeah, I lost my internet for like 2 minutes. One morning, I'm not even sure I got through my main weather at 4:30, and like my TV goes out. I don't have any control of, internet or my ability to remote in the computer anymore. And I'm like, oh man, all right. So I need to go into my bedroom, which is where I keep Rex, my cat, to just keep him away from all the gear for most of the show. So like go to the router, unplug, plug it back in, and like my TV came back right away. It's like AT&T broadband or whatever, and the computer came back up. But like I was down for the rest of that half hour. So I wasn't good to go again until 5:01 the next half hour. I'm trying to think what else has happened. Well, one time the company had like a VPN issue, which is like the way to jump on their server to get access to everything. And like we knew the day before like they were doing like some maintenance on it. So like I had to be in-house that following morning. Which was still really nice.
I think I remember that, because I remember like tuning in one morning or turning on the TV when I woke up, and I was like, why is Jeff at the station?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
I remember looking at Storyline, which is our program that we use to write web stories and upload video or chop segments from newscasts or whatever. And I saw you in front of like a map, and I was like, oh yeah, does he have a green screen at his house? No. Like I was like jealous for a second. I was like, if he has a green screen at his house, like I'm totally gonna like have to ask him. Like,
yeah, I know. I wish. I mean, there are a lot of meteorologists that I've seen that do.
Yeah.
I was thinking, and it's like the way my apartment is set up, I'm already taking up so much space. Like we live in just a 2-bedroom apartment. Pardon the motorcycle, but 2-bedroom apartment, and like that's one of the downsides, at least for my wife and I, is like right now basically our living room, and like for you it's your kitchen, has just a bunch of gear. And like when we say a bunch of gear, there's a camera, a tripod that takes about like 3 square feet almost,
easy.
And a light kit, and I have 2 computers on our coffee table at all times, so it does take up a lot of space. That being said, we've only touched on the and not that they're downsides, but just kind of the challenges that we faced. What do you think are some of the upsides? Do you enjoy the work from home life?
Well, I am like super thrilled and super grateful to have kept my job this entire time, because we know a lot of people have lost their job, or they're still without their job, or hoping to come back, and they don't know when that's going to be or whatever. So like very sensitive to that and very cognizant of that. So I think number one, all the way through number like 1,000, is just grateful to still be working.
Yeah, but, the ability to work from home.
Yeah, and like I don't foresee us like being at home that much longer. But I guess like knowing that you can pull off a show from home is good to know. You know?
Yeah. It was something that like I didn't realize, was even really that possible.
Never would have imagined.
And then within 2 weeks, we had developed like a plan, and I was starting to see other meteorologists doing it. And then like the next week, they're like, you guys are working from home. And within a few days, literally, I mean, we learned how to do it, and the directors learned how it would work for our shows and things like that. So it was a pretty quick transition, to say the least. And like what you said, just knowing that it's possible, I think is good, in case we ever needed to in the future.
I mean, let me ask you this, because like I I'm like full suit guy. I'm still wearing a full suit.
Yeah.
I'm still wearing suit pants. Like I wear sneakers because I'm standing like the majority of my shift.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm sitting, which has been interesting. I'm on a couch. Like I have it set up in our living room. I sit on my couch, but I sit pretty tall, and you can't really tell if. I mean, you can tell I'm sitting, I guess, because you can see I'm on a couch.
Right.
But yeah, I've been pretty casual, to say the least, from the waist down. That's all I'll say about that.
Okay, because like for instance, like I know Kirk Mason, morning anchor, who like, you know, jacket, tie, pocket square, whatever, looking posh, and then like he'll be wearing like jeans and like no shoes and no socks. Like I can't do that.
Yeah.
I don't know where you are on that.
So I've been wearing, like, I would say from the waist up what you've been wearing, which is a, you know, button-down shirt and a jacket. I actually just directly copied from you because you had already been doing it, and then our boss liked it. He was like, yeah, I think that looks good. Like I kind of like the fact, and I think viewers do too. You'll have to let us know, but I think like I got a few messages, you know, right away, like the little bit more casual look.
The no tie.
And I think in this environment that we're working in, I think it actually makes a lot of sense. It's like it looks a little weird if you're sitting on your couch wearing a full like suit tie jacket and you're like all, you know, buttoned up. I think it adds a level of just like a little bit more casual feel. I also feel that you know, I don't know how you are with this. I think working from home, I sometimes catch myself getting almost a little too comfortable, where I kind of like will say something a little goofy, and I think it's kind of fun, but I've become so loose working from home that sometimes I have to like reel myself back. But it's so easy to kind of like slip into that mindset of just you're hanging out at home and like you kind of forget, oh man, this is actually a newscast that's going out to a lot of people, so I should probably be on my best behavior. But
I the lack of a tie thing has been like freedom, because you're so like, you know, you're just kind of jammed up here for 10 or 12 hours or whatever it is, and it's like it just felt freeing. Like I know, like upon re-entry, like we have to wear ties and that's fine and whatever, but like, and I like to wear a tie. Like I'm not, like I'm into it. But I don't know, like a la like when you might see weather on like Headline News or something like that, or maybe some of the networks when they do a little bit of weather or whatever. Like I think it works.
It does, and I think you know, I'm excited. Like you said, I do like, you know, getting all dressed up, and I do. It was funny. I bought some ties recently, and it was right before like all this went down. So I still have all these like brand new ties sitting at home that I'm really excited to bust out.
We need to see them, man.
I know, but they haven't even seen the light of day, so that's kind of sad. But
that's a tease. Yeah,
but for me, I've enjoyed it. It's been nice for my wife and I. Just to have, you know, to be around. It was definitely an adjustment at first, you know, getting used to two people working, you know. Well, my wife's a nurse, so she wasn't working from home, but she's in grad school right now, so like two people working from home. And, you know, I think it was an adjustment for my wife, like at first, to also realize like when I'm working, I can't, you know, constantly talk all the time, and that was an adjustment for me too, just because I wanted to be talking to her, but then I would, you know, get behind on work, or you know, you had to, like, I had to kind of oh, hey Bosma. Had to kind of
lunchtime director.
Had to kind of you know, adjust the way I worked a little bit. And, you know, for a little bit I was almost I was going into our guest room and just kind of working in there, just to kind of separate myself and really get in the zone. Which was helpful. But, you know, for me right now, with Randy gone, I'm working the morning and nights on the weekends, which is it's definitely a long day. But I've been telling our boss, he checked in with me a few weeks ago, just kind of see how I was doing with that, because it's a lot of little sleep and a long day. But for me, like the working from home thing in a weird way has been like a huge blessing, because gives me extra sleep, because you know, I mean, if we were coming to the station, I'm sure getting a little bit more sleep than you normally do, because we don't have to get up, get, you know, showered, get ready, eat something, and then commute into work. For me now, it's literally roll out of bed, have a cup of coffee, throw a shirt and some pants on,
yeah,
and then get to forecasting, and I'm able to do that all within about like 10 minutes, and then I can kind of snack throughout because my kitchen's right there. So it saves me probably an extra good hour each night of sleep that I have to work the morning. So that's been like huge. And I get to nap in between, and it's like I'm done with work, I shut down the computer, go take a snooze for a little bit, kind of refresh a little bit, and that's been nice too. So
yeah, those are long days. I mean, I remember in late 2005, early 2006, I'm dating myself, I was in Dayton, Ohio at WHIO, but I worked the same exact shift.
Yeah.
So it's like all day Saturday, all day Sunday.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know what the numbers are, but what is that, like 30 or 36 hours in 2 days? I mean, it's
not that crazy, but I think one of the days is like 14 hours and another is like 13, the way I have it kind of worked out. So then I work 2 shifts during the week. So, and that was nice too, with this schedule, I get 3 days off during the week.
Yeah.
And so that's, it's been nice to spend that time with my wife and just to have a little extra time off, on the stretches. Hey, George, we're in the middle of a podcast.
Hey, George.
It's our engineer, George. He's redesigning our set right now.
Pretty much.
Thanks for giving us a new set.
I'm not giving it to you. I'm making sure corporate's giving it to you.
Good man.
Good man.
You guys deserve it.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, George.
George, our chief engineer, has also been really good this whole time about do you need a mask? Do you need another mask? Do you need hand sanitizer? Do you need extra of any of that stuff? How can I help you?
He's the point man on sanitation at the station. That all rhymed.
Very good.
Sanitation at the station.
Very good.
I think looking forward, hopefully we'll be getting back here soon, and we're kind of out of the station at a very almost guilty time because the folks that do have to work at the station still, I was talking to Laura the other day, and she was like, the hammering in the studio and all the construction that's going on, and they did a rebuild at the last station I was at, and I remember that a little bit too, just the construction work, the drills after a long day of work, sometimes that can get a little grueling. So we're gonna be very spoiled, Jeff. We're gonna come back and it'll be like Christmas morning. There will be a brand new set for us. And
let's tell everyone we are getting a brand new studio, and our old studio is say no more. I mean, it's gone.
I'm gonna go in there and it's gonna be sad.
Yeah,
it'll be a little sad.
Yeah, I mean it's
mostly exciting.
It's from the mid '90s, which feels like
we know you couldn't even tell. We know you couldn't tell.
Which feels like forever ago, but it was so time, and we've been talking about this for several years, and we are excited about a new set, but. I would say, as far as we know right now, we're going to be home through early July, and our parent company, Sinclair, may even decide to extend that a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't have any inside information, but my sense is the July 1st sort of re-entry date will be extended. That's my sense.
Yeah, sure. And I think, that's kind of what I'm hearing too, but
And I mean, if they said to me, "Hey, you're going to be at home for the rest of the year," okay, I'm okay with that.
We're getting by.
Yeah.
And I think we had a severe weather event a few weeks or last week. I don't know why I keep thinking it was 2 weeks ago, but apparently it was last week.
So much happens every day,
It is wild. But yeah, that severe weather event with the straight line wind and severe wind gusts in Battle Creek area, Calhoun County specifically got hit really bad.
Well, you were there. It was like a Tuesday night event, and then a Wednesday morning, Wednesday early afternoon event, and some of the same places that got hit were sort of in the same crosshairs the following day. You were in Battle Creek, and elsewhere, what did you see?
Battle Creek was pretty crazy. That was some of the more extensive storm damage that I've seen personally, which I've never... I've seen some tornado damage, but only once, and it was a low-end tornado. So that was... But, what people often forget is they think in their mind tornado damage is the most significant, and you can have a low-end EF0, EF1 tornado that does way less damage than what we saw in Battle Creek, and that was exactly the case. You have a severe storm, or especially a line of storms, go through, and that can do oftentimes Maybe not as significant of damage as like a tornado or like a mid-range tornado, but it can do more widespread damage in terms of trees, power lines, tree limbs. And that was definitely what I saw. I mean, there was some neighborhoods. I was on Wealthy Avenue, which I'm blanking the road that it was off of. I think it was like Dingus Road or something.
Sounds right.
Something like that. Yeah. But it might not have been Dingus. Maybe
Are you thinking of Dickman Road?
No, it definitely. I shouldn't be saying this, but it either was Dingus or it rhymed with This is so bad. It either was Dingus or rhymed with Dingus, because I think Dingus is a funny word.
Fair enough.
I call my nephews, don't be a dingus. But yeah, there was some really extensive damage, and I spoke, the one couple I spoke to, they like had 2 cars totaled. The husband was there at the time. It was crazy. He was like in the garage, and then all of a sudden he was like, trees started coming down, and he ran, into the basement and stuff. And that's another like lesson learned, I think, for him and for all of us, that severe thunderstorm warnings, we always say you should take just as seriously as a tornado warning. Unfortunately, in our society, people don't. Like, I don't think, most people, I don't think do, unfortunately. They think, oh, the sirens aren't going off, it's not a tornado, just a strong storm. It's like, no, a severe thunderstorm warning means there is life-threatening weather potentially moving into your area. So you really do have to take that serious, because a severe thunderstorm can do some serious damage. And that's what we saw. A lot of mature big trees down, a lot of power lines were affected, and people were out of power for like 3-4 days, some folks. I mean, it was pretty crazy.
I mean, like, I had people messaging me even over the weekend, like, hey, it's still Sunday, 5 days removed, still don't have power, or didn't get it until early this week, which would have been this Monday. But like, whenever you have, and essentially the setup was there was like 70 to 80 miles per hour worth of wind aloft.
Yeah.
Whenever you have that kind of high momentum air aloft, and you think thunderstorms could bring that kind of stuff down towards the ground, it's like, that is not a joke.
Well, that was what was crazy too, is like, and exactly what you just said, anytime you have that momentum aloft, it doesn't even take that strong of a storm to bring that down. Because on radar, there were some storms that looked more menacing, but like a lot of the storms that they were warning didn't even look all that strong on radar. But then you factor in, they're just bringing that really strong wind down to the surface. I mean, that's why, and they were moving really fast too.
Yeah, storm motion, what was like northeast, like 50-55 miles an hour. So like baseline, you could see those kind of winds.
Hard to even track sometimes though on our system, because it's like drawing our little tracking tool out. I mean, that can be difficult, but yeah, I mean, that was pretty crazy, and doing that and getting out there was pretty surreal. There was a lot of damage. So
I mean, whenever Consumers Energy, you go to their outage map and it's 6 figures.
Yeah, that's not good.
Like that's a sign of how bad it was. But let's move forward for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to be passing the baton to you for weekend weather.
Yes.
The gist of what we see is heat and some storm chances, right?
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah. Today, what's the high today? What are you calling?
So we had 87 yesterday, and we're 4 warmer as of at least 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Over this time yesterday.
It was hot. I mean, it's already kind of warm.
Yeah, so I think like 90 to 91 is fair game for later today. And more humidity, dew points lower, like 62, 63. That's the most humidity we've had all week. I know it's not a lot for your standards per se.
For a St. Louisan, someone who was born and raised in Missouri. No, I was just talking to my mom about that the other day. It's like, up here, I've started to acclimate to this climate, and it's like a 65-degree dew point now. I'm like, oh, it's so hot and humid, but like back home, that's like refreshing. So kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, I can already tell today, like this morning, I'm going to be out covering, they're doing social distancing zones, I think is what it's called, in downtown Kalamazoo.
Yeah, along the mall.
Yeah, so I'll be covering that with our photographer, Matt Miller, and I'm sure we'll be sweating a little bit. But yeah, you can already tell it's already a little warmer and a little touch more humid than it was yesterday.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we were dry all Saturday.
Yeah, it's been a dry, I mean, aside from a couple weeks ago, and then I think, we had one other active day, I think like in May.
We had a ton of rain in May.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, May was very active in terms of precipitation, but now we're into a whole, like, little bit of a drier pattern, which is good news for the inland lakes and lake levels and things like that, and river levels, because we did have a lot of flooding late last month.
Oh yeah,
but
for sure.
It's bad news for the farmers and for the people watering their lawn and things like that.
The U.S. Drought Monitor comes out every Thursday. Now the data goes through Tuesday, then they release it Thursday. So if you get a ton of rain on Wednesday and you don't see any changes in what they contour, it's just because it only goes through Tuesday. But anyway, it came out yesterday morning, usually around 8 a.m. or so, and nowhere in West Michigan was categorized as pre-drought or abnormally dry. So that doesn't mean we don't need rain.
Yeah.
We do need rain. So I think the better chance for rain is Saturday night, first half of Father's Day.
Yeah.
And maybe we could end on this. Are you all set with your dad for Father's Day?
I need to get.
Whoa. Will, it's Friday.
I know. It's bad. You're throwing me under the bus here, Jeff.
Dude, I just finished mine yesterday, so
You did?
I was totally last minute.
Well, so here's my thing. So my dad, he's a pretty laid-back guy, and I am planning on sending him something, but I'm late. It's bad. But of all the people, my dad cares about the least. He's one where if I get him something a day late, he's not going to care. I'm going to call him and we'll talk, and he'll be content with that.
Okay.
But yeah.
So
Hopefully my dad won't watch this. Don't watch this, Dad.
now, if you do want to watch, YouTube is a viable option.
Yes.
Our website, WWMT.com.
Yeah, if you're listening, you can watch Jeff and I sit on a bench outside of the station, socially distant and enjoying a beautiful morning.
And the actual podcast itself is available through where all of our podcasts are available, which is
the podcast place, wherever you get your podcasts. And it's, I think, just WWMT News Channel 3 or News Channel 3 or something.
Yeah.
Just search that.
Yeah.
You'll find us. Well, Jeff, it was nice to see you. This was seriously like we're supposed to do this now, Jeff. Now we have to hand sanitize. No, it was good to see you, Jeff, and we
Totally great to see you.
I was thinking, I don't think I've literally seen you in person probably since
April,
which is crazy.
You look about the same, so.
Yeah, so do you.
Thank you.
All right, well, I guess we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time, and remember, WWMT.com for your weather needs always, and have a great weekend and a safe weekend.
Bye, everybody.